speed drone, kendo drone, eating drone, breathing drone, education drone. If you do absolutely anything within typesoul ranked, you are considered to be a drone. At this point, the word has almost lost its meaning entirely. It's something people will throw out with no thought because they're on a 13-game loss streak and just can't take it anymore. And honestly, it's not even just an insult anymore. It's genuinely become an excuse that people just blurt out because they can't come up with any other reason as to why they possibly could have lost in ranked. And this is like a personal experience for me. I'm not talking out of my ass. I beat people using Lightning Shikai, Thunder Shunko, Ground Hakuda, and after they get 5-barred, they call me a drone or say that I'm metamancing. Niggas deadass just be saying anything. You could be on Medic Confusion Shikai and you'll still be called a drone. You are not safe. You don't even have to have your build made yet. You could be a lost soul walking around in Karakura Town and you'll be called a drone. But let's actually stop and think for a second. Let's stop and think about where the abuse of this word started and why niggas decided to call every single build a drone build. Because if we look back on previous releases of typesoul, it definitely was never this bad. Like, you wouldn't go on TikTok and see just all these posts about people just complaining about every single thing, bro. Like, it's not just one build that's being complained about or being called a drone. It's absolutely everything. And now you go on TikTok comments on a typesoul video and the first comment will just be someone calling the person like a drone. Like, ironically, obviously, but it just goes to show like how far the situation has progressed. Now, I don't think it's a secret when I say that typesoul is a poorly balanced game, and that itself is still an understatement. I made an entire video about this entire topic before, which y'all can check out, but basically this whole game and everything usable within it feels like it wasn't tested before it's released to the public. When I say that, I mean that whenever something drops, 90% of the time it's broken, and it doesn't even just stop at things that you can use on like one-on-one ranked. This was especially apparent with true modes, which were, by the way, the main content for the Hell re-release. I mean, you literally could just immediately pop the strongest form in the game without having to do any work, since progressing your true mode takes 0 skill, and you didn't have to fill up a bar either. And so as a result, you just have absolutely everyone within Karakura Town just walking around with true Bankai and popping it just absolutely randomly. You walk into KT, and just there'd always be someone who had true pops. Absolutely everyone had it, including the puffer demons, because it genuinely required no skill to get, and it takes no skill to pop. So you'd fight someone, maybe you wouldn't have true yet, and oh look, little Timmy who just hopped on this game 5 hours ago has true mode. I'm going to lose. And by the way, Central quite literally stated that if you see someone with true, that means they're good at the game, or they worked for it, like it was a hard grind. That cannot be held up. That statement cannot be held up anymore. And so this lack of attention to detail just seems to pour into everything that these guys touch within this game. Because every single time you fight someone in ranked, I can guarantee that at some point within the match, half of you niggas watching would start saying, "What the fuck was that, bro?" You get matched against the most bitchless, shower dodging people of all time using some fuck ass build that you don't even know what's going on anymore. You didn't know this type of stuff could be done in the game. And then the other 49% of the time, you're going against someone who's just blatantly abusing the meta. Pre-nerf Flower, pre-nerf Ichimonji, pre-nerf Zangetsu, pre-nerf Dollhouse, pre-nerf Muay Thai, pre-nerf Thunderball, pre-nerf Blood S Arkido, pre-nerf Shadow. You notice how I have to put pre-nerf in front of everything? It's because everything these people release is just somehow absolutely disgusting beyond belief on its release or rework. And so now this is exactly why people just call everything a drone build. Damn near everything in the game is completely unbalanced in a way. And when something is completely unbalanced, there will be YouTube videos made about it. Lightspeed M1s, frame 1 hyper armor, broken element moves. Anytime someone sees someone running these, their immediate thought was, wow, this guy is a fucking loser. And they're really not wrong for saying that. Because when you see someone using something broken, all you can think of is how they must be running it because it is broken. Surely that's the only reason they're on whatever they're on. But now the problem has come absolutely full circle. People will just call anything a drone build. If you're not running some fuck ass garbage hybrid build with 32 medic, 10 Hakuda, and 67 kendo, you're a drone. The word has been ruined beyond belief because the state of this game is so unbelievably garbage. You can't play any tree without being called a bum. You can't play your favorite element because you'll just be called a meta abuser. And I won't even lie, I'm guilty of this too. It's just like a different type of feeling, you know, when you load into that ranked game and someone pulls out their weapon or activates their Shikai and you just look at them, just like thinking to yourself, wow, what a fucking loser, bro. This guy, bro, how dare he play that absolutely broken shit. And so you automatically get mad before even fighting them. That's how bad that this state of the game is, that even before you load in and start fighting someone, you're already mad at them for what they're using. I know when the flower speed epidemic hit this game, there were a ton of people using it who just liked flower, and all of a sudden they're being called level 1 AI because it turned out that it had become overpowered as fuck. And honestly, I might have said this before, but it really just doesn't stop at just like the elements and the weapons and the essences and the ultra skills. Even the base skill trees you cannot touch without being called a loser. Air Hakata is completely hated because it just pretty much negates movement while you're stuck in the air. You can't play Kido because you'll just be called an S tier. You can't play Kendo because you'll just be called Ichimonji carried, or it just does too much damage. You can't play Speed because you're running halfway across the map like Sonic with an absolutely busted skill tree. You can't play Ground Hakata because there's so many TP and Hyper Armor moves. And you can't play Medic because you're an S tier. Type Soul players will just find absolutely any reason as to why you suck even though they lost. And although a good chunk of that blame, goes to the toxicity of the game, an even larger chunk of blame is to be put on the devs. I genuinely do not believe that these devs play what they make. I think they just make it in studio and drop it in the game. In fact, there was a dev who got hit with a true slash move, and he had no idea that shit did so much damage. And only after he saw how much damage it did he nerf it. Is the testing team cosmetic, bro? What the fuck do they possibly do all day? Do they have the role just to fucking look cool and sit in Discord all day glazing the devs and gatekeeping their broken builds? How is it possible that everything that makes it into an update and everything that gets reworked comes out of the hyperbolic time chamber, broken as fuck? It's almost like Cetro hired each and every developer from Craigslist, fired anyone who had any actual passion for the game, and then gave them $5 each to make their own custom hype and aura moments, weapons, and elements that they'll let loose in the game and plague it with. I actually want to talk about this so much more, bro, but I'll do so in another video because these guys are just like unbelievable. Like, I have way too much to say. It's not like I dislike Type Soul. I love playing the game with my friends. There is some creativity to be had within the game, but logging into ranked against some of these builds is like the worst experience of all time. I'm not sure how much more I can take. Anyways, thanks for watching, man. I'll see y'all later.